Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone. Close your eyes for a moment and go back. Not to your happiest memory. Go back to a Tuesday. An ordinary, forgettable Tuesday, except it wasn't ordinary for you. While the other kids on your street were arguing over whose turn it was on the swing, you were standing at the top of the stairs at 9 p.m., counting the seconds between your father's footsteps, trying to calculate, by rhythm alone, whether tonight was going to be a calm night or a night you'd need to get your little brother into his room and shut the door quietly. Or maybe your Tuesday looked different. Maybe you were 11 years old, standing on a kitchen stool, stirring a pot of rice because your mother hadn't gotten out of bed in 3 days, and somebody had to make sure your sister ate something before school. You weren't a child in that moment. You were a manager, a mediator, a tiny adult wearing a child's body, running a household that was never supposed to be yours to run. And here's the cruel twist. The grown-ups around you noticed, but instead of asking what it cost you, they praised you for it. Wow, you're so responsible for your age. You're like a little adult. I don't know what we'd do without you. And you, starving for any drop of approval, took those words and wore them like armor. You told yourself that growing up early wasn't a loss. It was proof that you were special, stronger than other kids, built different. But nobody ever asked the real question. What did it cost you to become that strong so young? That is what we are unpacking today. The quiet, invisible wound carried by people who had to grow up before they were ready. And I want to be honest with you from the start. This wound doesn't stay in childhood. It doesn't fade when you turn 18 or move out or get your own apartment. It follows you into your friendships, into your career, into the way you love and the way you let yourself be loved, or don't. If you never understand what actually happened to you, you will spend decades unconsciously repeating the exact survival strategies that once kept you safe, except now those same strategies are the thing quietly exhausting you. In psychology, there is a name for this. It's called parentification. Picture normal childhood development the way you'd picture a plant growing in good soil. A seed needs 3 things to become strong: soil, water, sunlight. In a family, the equivalent of soil and water is emotional safety. A child is supposed to have the right to be careless sometimes, the right to mess up, the right to lean their full weight on an adult and trust that the adult will hold it. Kids are supposed to know, somewhere in their bones, that if the roof caved in, someone bigger than them would catch it. But in your story, that order got reversed. Maybe your parents were dealing with their own untreated anxiety. Maybe there was addiction in the house, or a slow, grinding divorce, or a chronic illness that swallowed all the emotional oxygen in every room. Whatever it was, your parents, usually without meaning to, handed you a backpack loaded with responsibilities that were never supposed to belong to a child. Family therapists, most notably Ivan Bozer-Nagy, one of the founding thinkers in this field, broke this pattern down into 2 distinct categories. The first is instrumental parentification. This is the practical, task-based version. You were the one doing the grocery runs, packing lunches, getting your younger siblings dressed and out the door for school, paying bills online at 14 because your mom worked 2 jobs and didn't have time. This version is genuinely tiring, but research shows it tends to leave a lighter psychological scar, especially if the parents acknowledged what you were doing and thanked you for it. The second type is far more corrosive, emotional parentification. This is when you become your parents' emotional support system. Your mother calls you at midnight to cry about your father. Your father unloads his financial stress onto you like you're his therapist, not his kid. You're the one expected to referee their fights, soothe their moods, and read the emotional temperature of the house the second you walk through the door. Sit with this for a second, because it matters. When an 8-year-old has to comfort a 40-year-old, the natural order of the family collapses, and the child absorbs a brutal, silent lesson that gets carved into their nervous system. My needs are inconvenient. My parents' feelings come first. I only matter when I'm useful. That's not maturity. That's a childhood quietly being stolen, one favor at a time. Here's where the biology comes in, and I want you to really absorb this part because it explains almost everything that's confused you about yourself as an adult. Kids who grow up in safe, predictable homes spend most of their day in what nervous system researchers call a rest and digest state. Relaxed, curious, playful. But you didn't get that. You spent your childhood constantly asking silent questions. What mood is dad in tonight? Is mom going to be okay when I get home from school? Did I do something wrong? Your brain adapted to that uncertainty by getting stuck in a low-grade, permanent state of fight or flight. Your amygdala, the brain's built-in smoke detector, learned to work overtime, scanning every room you entered for danger before you'd even consciously registered a thing. I call this emotional radar scanning. You walk into a room and within 2 seconds, without even trying, you already know who's upset, who's faking a smile, and how thick the tension is in the air. You hear a car pull into the driveway a little too fast, or a text message that just says, "We need to talk," and your whole body clenches before your brain has even processed the words. You don't need to be told something is wrong. You feel it shift in the air like a change in barometric pressure. That skill would make you an incredible crisis negotiator. But if all you're trying to do is live an ordinary, peaceful life, that same skill becomes exhausting. And here's the paradox that trips up almost everyone who grew up this way. You are quietly, unconsciously addicted to chaos. I know how that sounds. You'd tell me you hate conflict, that you crave calm more than almost anything. But look closer. When life actually becomes peaceful, no crisis, no fires to put out, nothing urgent demanding your attention, something strange happens. You start to feel restless, uneasy. Your chest tightens for no obvious reason. Why? Because to your nervous system, peace doesn't register as safety. It registers as the calm before a storm, because that's what silence used to mean when you were small. Quiet in your childhood home often meant something was about to go wrong. So now, as an adult, when there's no actual emergency, your brain quietly manufactures one. A spiral of worry, a manufactured deadline, a catastrophic what if, just to bring your cortisol back up to a level that feels familiar. You feel safer, worried than relaxed, because when you're worried, you feel like you're at least somewhat in control. When you're relaxed, you feel exposed, like you've let your guard down right before something's about to hit. This is a huge reason people who grew up too fast so often become perfectionists who quietly battle imposter syndrome well into their 30s and 40s. You never feel like you've done enough, because once upon a time, your emotional safety depended on doing everything flawlessly. There's a sentence I think is going to land uncomfortably close to home. I'd rather do it myself than ask for help. Sound familiar? You're the kind of person who will move apartments completely alone, hauling boxes up 3 flights of stairs, back aching, hands blistered. And when a neighbor offers to help carry the couch, you smile and say, No, I've got it. I'm almost done," even though you very clearly do not have it. This is called hyperindependence. It sounds like a strength, almost admirable in a look how capable I am kind of way. But underneath, it's a trauma scar wearing a competent disguise. Go back to your childhood for a second and ask yourself honestly, why did you learn to handle everything on your own? Because think about what actually happened the times you did ask for help as a kid. Maybe you were brushed off because your parents were too overwhelmed with their own problems. Maybe you asked your mom for help with homework and got a heavy sigh that made you feel like an inconvenience. Maybe you were flat out criticized. Why can't you just figure this out yourself? So your young brain built a quiet, protective equation. Asking for help equals disappointment, or asking for help means becoming a problem. And to protect yourself from ever feeling that sting again, you built a fortress. You became the person who needs absolutely nobody. But here's the truth underneath that fortress. Humans are wired for connection. We are not built to survive, let alone thrive, completely alone. Hyperindependence isn't self-sufficiency. It's self-isolation wearing a productivity badge. And this becomes especially dangerous in romantic relationships. You won't let your partner take care of you, not even a little. You turn the relationship into a one-way street. You show up for them constantly, but you never let them show up for you the same way. So what happens? You quietly burn out. You feel lonely even while lying next to someone who loves you. Resentment creeps in. Why doesn't anyone ever help me? Why does it always fall on me? But the uncomfortable truth is, how could anyone help you when you've never once let them close enough to try? You locked the door so tightly that even love can't get through it. Hyper-independence isn't strength. It's a silent, well-disguised cry for help that says, I am so afraid of being rejected that I have stopped allowing myself to ask for anything at all. And in protecting yourself this way, you accidentally sacrifice one of the most valuable human experiences there is, the ability to completely lose yourself joyfully in something you're doing. Have you ever noticed how hard it is for you to simply relax and have fun, the way it seems to come so effortlessly to other people? Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi coined a term for a very specific mental state called flow. Being so completely absorbed in what you're doing that you lose track of time entirely, forget your own self-consciousness, and feel a pure, uncomplicated sense of joy. It's a kid so lost in building a blanket fort that they don't hear their name being called for dinner. It's a painter who looks up from the canvas and 3 hours have somehow disappeared. For someone who had to grow up too fast, flow is a locked door. Why can't you get there? Because true, joyful absorption requires your nervous system to feel genuinely safe and unguarded. But you're wired differently. You're like a security guard who has never once, in their entire career, been told they're allowed to go home. Even when you're on a beach vacation or watching a movie with people you love, some quiet corner of your mind is still on duty, half listening for danger, running through your mental to-do list, worrying you've forgotten to reply to an email. For you, fully letting go feels dangerous, like the second you stop bracing yourself, something bad will happen. So you lose the ability to simply do something for no reason other than joy. Everything needs a purpose, an outcome, a plan. Even on vacation, instead of sinking into the moment, you're managing it, making sure the photos look good, making sure the itinerary is efficient, making sure nobody's upset. You're not actually playing. You're managing your play so it turns out perfectly. As an adult, this makes you remarkably productive, the kind of person who can work a 12-hour day without blinking. But not because you love the work, because you're afraid. Afraid of being judged as lazy, afraid of failing, afraid that if you stop moving for even a moment, everything you've built will quietly fall apart. You're not in flow at your job. You're bracing for impact just to feel like you're safe. And somewhere in all that bracing, in all that effort to look like a put-together, capable adult, you left the most important part of yourself behind, your inner child. Don't picture the inner child as something abstract or overly mystical. It's simply the part of your psyche that holds your natural curiosity, your playfulness, your uncomplicated capacity for joy. For people who had to grow up too fast, that part of you didn't vanish. It got frozen, stuck at exactly the age you were forced to become an adult. You walk through the world wearing a competent, functioning adult on the outside, going to work, paying rent, showing up for people. But underneath, your actual inner child is still curled up in a quiet corner of your subconscious, afraid to come out, still convinced the world isn't a safe place to play. That's why standing in front of a genuinely beautiful sunset or walking into a room full of laughing people can sometimes make you feel like an outsider looking in through glass, unable to fully feel the joy that everyone else seems to access so easily. And when you can't access your own joy, you do the next best thing you know how to do. You connect to other people's pain instead, because at least that makes you feel useful. This is where the deepest paradox of all begins. You become the therapist friend in every friend group. You attract people who are wounded, people with narcissistic tendencies, people who always seem to need saving. Why? Because this is the only emotional terrain you were ever trained to navigate. You spent your entire childhood learning to fix other people's problems, so your emotional intelligence became razor sharp. You can read the hurt behind someone's forced smile from across a room. You are, without question, a master of empathy. But your empathy was never free. It's the direct result of having had to read other people just to stay safe. And here's the paradox in its rawest form. You understand the pain of nearly everyone around you, except your own. You will sit on the phone for 3 hours listening to a friend cry about their breakup, offering thoughtful, precise advice. But when you're the one hurting, you close the bathroom door, turn the shower on, and cry as quietly as possible so no one hears you. You're terrified of becoming a burden. The brutal truth underneath all of this is that you're trying to save other people in the quiet hope that if you save enough of them, someone, somewhere, will eventually turn around and save you too. Or maybe staying endlessly busy fixing everyone else's life is simply easier than facing the wreckage sitting inside your own. You've been searching for your worth through usefulness, terrified that the moment you stop being helpful, stop being strong, stop being the one who has it all together, no one will love you at all. This is the real question. How do you begin healing something you're not even fully sure counts as a wound? Because this wasn't one dramatic, headline-worthy event. It was thousands of small, quiet moments where you carried more than you should have and still somehow felt like it wasn't enough. The answer isn't trying harder. It's actually the opposite. It's learning how to try less. First, let yourself grieve who you used to be. I know that might sound dramatic, but let's be honest with each other for a second. You are carrying a very real, very legitimate grief. Grief for the 8-year-old, the 11-year-old, who should have been allowed to be messy, to lose track of responsibilities sometimes, to be a little bit irresponsible and still be loved anyway. The next time you catch yourself tensing up, ready to fix someone else's problem before they've even finished the sentence, pause and quietly ask yourself, if I don't step in right now, if I just let this stay a little messy, what would actually happen? Let your inner child clock out of the job nobody should have given them. You don't owe anyone gratitude for growing up fast. You're allowed to mourn the childhood that got taken from you. That's not ungrateful. That's honest. Second, and this is genuinely the hardest part, practice being a beginner at receiving. People like you often carry a quiet, toxic belief. I only have value when I'm useful. You operate like an ambulance that never turns its siren off, constantly racing to save someone else, but never once pulling into the garage for its own maintenance. Start absurdly small. The next time someone offers you help, resist your automatic reflex to say, I've got it. Instead, pause for 3 full seconds, swallow whatever pride flares up, and say, yes, actually, that would really help. You need to internalize this truth deeply. You are a human being, not a problem-solving machine. Simply existing, even on days when you help no one, fix nothing, and have 0 answers, already has worth. You do not have to earn love by being endlessly useful. Third, give yourself 15 minutes a day where you owe nothing to anyone. Do something genuinely pointless.